You're listening to another episode of the Fredericksburg Strong podcast. This is a local forum to inform and entertain our community, discuss local news, promote small businesses, and celebrate our hometown heroes with a little dose of humor to keep you entertained. Our mission is simple: to keep Fredericksburg strong. Today's podcast is powered by Pohanka Nissan and Pohanka Hyundai of Fredericksburg. And now, here's your host, Tim Pohanka.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Pohanka. Welcome to Fredericksburg Strong. I have a returning guest I'm very happy to have. And you've brought someone with us. Welcome, April Birch. And you've brought Morgan?
Yes, my husband. Morgan.
Your husband? No, Morgan and I go way back. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Tim.
So things have been pretty hectic for you guys over at Cooking Autism.
Oh, we have been extremely busy. We've done a cooking show for our special needs community and all of our grants we're about to give out, a scholarship. We've had a very busy last few months, even with COVID.
So let's talk about that. So it's COVID time.
Right.
It's virtually impossible or difficult. Impossible is the wrong word. For groups like yourself to really be impactful.
Right.
You've had to really come up with unique ways to be active in the community. So let's talk about that.
Right.
Where did the idea of a cooking show come up with? Let's talk about that first.
Well, I work for Stafford County Public Schools, and when they sent us as parents and as employees the notification that we were not coming back, I immediately jumped into mommy mode because we have all of these students that, first of all, transitions into having your schedule set every single day to not having anything is extremely hard, especially for our autism community. So I said, what can Cooking Autism do to kind of alleviate some of the stress? So we said, okay, every day, we immediately jumped into every day at noon, we're going to do a cooking show. And we're going to base it around something easy, but something fun that our community members can hop on and cook with us, which was extremely successful. We had some local teachers join us. We had a lot of local teachers join us. We had some local politicians join us. We had some local celebrities. Dee Daniels joined us. But the goal was to keep our students engaged and to keep them feeling a sense of being on schedule, because a lot of these children cook in their own classrooms. So something that was just kind of we got to do something turned into a huge, it was quite difficult, but it turned into a huge event every single day for our children, and it worked out really well. We had a lot of good success, and what we're doing now is we had to figure out how to go high tech. So now we have a YouTube channel, and we've got streaming devices now, so that we know how to do all of this so that it's easier for our children and our students and our audience to watch as we do these programs. But we did over, I want to say, about 70 episodes, and most of them are on YouTube. Which makes sense.
About 70 days have passed. So
right.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was every weekday.
What are the foods that were being?
So we taught our students how to make things, healthy options and kind of fun dessert options. But we did things like fruit kebabs and ants on a log, and then we did things like cake in a mug, where you would microwave it in the microwave. We did banana splits. That was a fun one. Dee Daniels hopped on and showed us how to make her delicious burger, Dee's Delicious Burger, I believe it was called.
It was some alliteration. Dashingly delicious
burger.
Yeah,
but I mean,
what was the craziest thing?
What was the craziest thing that we did? Oh,
I like the little the croissant pizza thing that you and Danny made.
Yeah, we did kind of a ring. We got on with Dr. Kisner and Lori Kisner, the superintendents, and we made pigs in a blanket, and that was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah. My
kids really enjoyed that. Crazy.
Is there one that you would thought your kids may not have liked, but they turned out just to be like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever?
The ants on a log. We had 3 different kinds, and it had olives, and some of it was peanut butter, some of it was cream cheese. We had a whole bunch of different, and I thought, there's no way my kids are eating this, and they really loved it.
What was that refrigerated chocolate cookie cake that you made?
Oh man, that was called
icebox cake.
Icebox cake. Yeah.
My grandmother used to make that.
Yes.
That is a I mean, you know the hardest part is finding those chocolate wafers.
Yeah,
That's it. That's true. I couldn't find them, so I had to find a sub.
Publix. I just found them at Publix the other day.
So what happens for me, because that's a staple. That's a staple from growing up in our family.
Well,
and it's every time you go to the store, if you go through the aisle and you see those wafers, you buy them.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, you know, the thing about that though was I've never had it before in my life, and she was talking about making this, and she said that you have to, you know, put these wafers in there and then like layer it with whipped cream and all this stuff. Then you put it in the fridge and let the wafers get soggy. And I'm like, what?
It's a patience thing.
Yeah, you describe it to somebody, you're like going, wait, it sounds like soggy cereal.
Yeah, right, I don't want
but
that.
no, you cut it on that little angle, and that's just.
I'm so glad you've heard of that. I thought I was so weird about growing up and having it all the time, but it looks like maybe you're the weirdo.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, where did you grow up?
Florida.
Okay, so, we got it out of New England, so obviously it's not
regional.
Well, it's not regional.
Hold on now, your grandmother is from
Okay, well then if it's from Boston, that's where my grandmother was living when we were. So it was on Barnstable, actually on Cape Cod. But yeah, that's a family tradition, and another one that's a family tradition is those ladyfingers.
Oh, like a tiramisu.
Yeah, with the caramel and then the ice cream on. So you've had the same.
Yes,
So those are maybe they are Bostonian things. I don't know, but maybe.
You know, let me take you back real fast to one thing that I found really interesting throughout this whole ordeal. Right. So extenuating circumstances lead you to see things that you thought you'd never see. I watched April geek out on tech. Right?
I am not.
So,
I'm not a tech savvy person.
So
generally.
So I am the AV IT guy for our church. So as a result, and as a result of
I think
COVID,
everyone knows that you're the geeky guy.
Right.
I'm a techie
I
don't think
that
there's anyone in the whole world that knows you that doesn't know that you are the computer guy.
But the thing is, so I'm IT, right, which doesn't necessarily translate to AV live streaming stuff, right? That's like a whole different skill set.
But okay.
But I was able to learn it easily because of my background in IT. But as a result of that, I had to work with a product called OBS, which is free. You know, it allows you to do RTMP streams out to different platforms.
You know what's amazing with tech people? They start throwing initials out like we understand that.
Sorry.
IT, OBS, RTG. I'm doing the OMG.
That's me.
So it's this broadcasting software, and then I learned how to do restreaming through like Caster.io and things like that. But then April was like, oh, hey, I can incorporate this into Cooking Autism. And then I think I gave her a session one time on how to use this stuff. And then she just went to town. And then she said, she was like, oh, this OBS stuff, I found something else. And then she went and
StreamYard.
So StreamYard. And then she started doing all types of stuff. Now she can edit the video better than me.
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The good news is that we can use these platforms now to do one-on-one sessions with our students and to do live sessions or recorded sessions to where they can hop onto the same platform. We have this beautiful setup. We have all of the information. They can hop on, and then they get all the information, even if it's one-on-one or live to a larger audience. So I'm learning.
Yeah, but that's the benefit. That's the beauty of technology and the detriment to people like yourself, because when you look at someone who's in tech and they know all of the intricacies of tech. Somebody goes out there and they makes it so they get it down to the basics that someone you and I can figure out.
Right.
And they were like going, well, wait a second, we don't need all this other extra letters. I got this one thing that can do it.
Yeah, right. I'm not worried because just like any
something still breaks.
Right, exactly, right? Because
so you can fix whatever
being in IT, it's always people saying, what do you guys really do when everything's working just fine?
Yeah,
because you did your job right in the beginning. But then once it breaks, your true value shows.
Without a doubt.
During our cooking shows, he's hopped on to say, okay, this is not working, or hey, Mel, something's not working. He hops on and fixes everything. So
you know the worst thing a tech guy can tell you? The power button.
Yeah,
that's the one. That's the one you never want to hear. Is hey, did you turn it on?
Yes.
Which is always is it plugged in?
Yes.
Hey, it happens.
Over the last 15 years of being with you, I've learned that before asking him to turn things off and then restart it. And if that doesn't work, then I need to go grab them. But
I've tried that with a few things I've cooked before, and that does not work.
That does not work for cooking.
It does not work in cooking. So technology, you've really had to embrace technology to really move your group forward. And we did something. We've had to do the same thing here, where we're trying to use technology to change what we're doing. Do you find that technology and COVID has actually found you synergies that you never knew existed?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have. I'm very proud of what we've learned over the last 3 or 4 months. And now the good thing is that we can take this information, we can take all of this stuff that we're learning, and we can help move us forward. Say COVID disappears today, and we can all go back to living a normal life. We still have these resources that we've captured, and we can that we've learned now can help our children, our students, our teachers even better now than we've ever done before, because we've been kind of forced to push forward through this pandemic, really.
And you're able to close gaps with tech, right? Mm-hmm. So you can, one of the things that we've been doing as well during the lunch bunch, right, is what you called it, was other people would be involved. It wasn't just April doing the live streams. It was other people that were in their own homes, in their own kitchens with their own children, that would volunteer to do those live streams as well. So you're able to use that same technology to get more people involved and engaged as well.
Yeah, we had Alicia from the YMCA with her son go and help us make amazing banana splits, and we would not be able to do that if it wasn't for technology and us being kind of forced to learn technology.
So your cooking shows are kind of like responsible for, like, we back in college, the freshman 15. So you're like the Corona 20 or something like
that. The COVID-19.
Yeah, the COVID-19.
That's what we're going to call it.
It's actually a waking that's happened. So you're doing more than that, though. So now that we've broken out of phase 1, 2, well, I don't know which phase we're in now. I think we're now to.
We're going
I think
to 3.
We started 3 today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That means that there's more things that are opening up, and you guys have some plans that people can go to outside and enjoy weather and be outside and have a little bit of human contact. Not much, but let's talk about what you're doing there.
So we have a couple of things. We've always done what's called our Exceptional Chefs group. And what we're going to start doing is going into outside, like Sedona or the Italian station, and having small groups and doing these cooking sessions in smaller groups. On top of that, we have a couple of fundraisers that are coming up, including a huge race. But what we're doing now is we've learned how to socially distance to kind of keep everybody safe, but not miss out on the importance of teaching our special needs community those social skills, those life skills that have always been important, and that are even more important now that we're dealing with super germs and viruses, and we're having to we have the availability now to come out of our houses in very small groups to be able to continue doing the programs that we've been doing, and then that's outside of the school, the brick and mortar school system, and we will be back in the classrooms this September and August, starting cooking again for our children inside of the classroom.
Now, the person-to-person contact, that's important in dealing with or trying to, I don't know, what's the word I want to use? It's an important component in autism, working with people with autism. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, I think so. So both of our children are on the autism spectrum. One has a 504 plan, and he does very well working virtually by himself. It's actually does really well for him because he doesn't have the distractions of all the shiny stuff in the classroom. But then we have the other side, the exact other side, is our other child who has an IEP and usually spends a little bit of time in his special ed classroom each day normally. It was awful having him do virtual learning because he needs that interaction from his teachers and his peers in order for him to retain information. In order for him, he needs that social aspect and the repetitiveness of learning. And that it was extremely hard for him. I'm not saying every student couldn't do it, but it was extremely hard for him. So, but yes, he needed that one-on-one attention to be able to look at our faces and read what our faces are saying and what our mouths are saying, not on a computer. So it's hard. You're going to have both. You're going to have it both ways. But I think there is having an in-person for a lot of students, that's huge.
I think so. In my opinion, what you lose whenever you lose that in-person engagement is, especially with a child on the spectrum that requires that structure, is you don't have the ability to control the scene, right? So if you put your child on a laptop or on a tablet and tell them to pay attention to their teacher, that teacher usually is able to command and control that scene, right?
Well, they know what you're doing. They can see
Right.
what you're paying attention to. They can see if you're doodling.
Right, exactly. And the child doesn't really feel that there would be any kind of so if I just kind of goof off over here, so it really, I think what it takes, at least until we can figure out something else, it takes the parents, and it's hard because parents have to work or they're otherwise doing things. So it's going to take the parents to be a little more engaged and make sure the child is paying attention and doing their activities that they're supposed to do, because it's what we're having to learn now is a lot of people, since this experiment of public education has been happening. It's actually a fairly new capability in America, I think, up until the early 1900s, right? That is whenever it wasn't around. Anyway.
1930s, 1940s, I think.
Yeah. So parents have kind of taken teachers and put them in this sphere of they're not just educators, but they're also, they have that in loco parentis responsibility, and they're also the caretakers, and kind of like, I don't want to say that they're babysitters, but they are providing that structure and discipline to your children, right? When that goes away, the parents don't really know what to do when those children are supposed to be.
Including me as a mom,
Yeah.
it was extremely hard not to have my child in school with his teachers on that same schedule all the time. And it's challenging as a mom and somebody that is working with a nonprofit. I see both sides.
Yeah.
It's extremely challenging.
Well, I also imagine it's challenging from the standpoint that you've got a first grade teacher that teaches first grade.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a sixth grade teacher that teaches sixth grade.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a 10th grade teacher or just a high school system that teaches, and then they're teaching different ways. If you've got a family of 3 and you've got age groups that are separated, 2 or 3 years apart, you're not talking that you're going to be trying to teach or watch or even do the same thing. And imagine, you'll be fine with this, but if I went back and had to help my son with calculus, I'd be like, what were the first 3 chapters of this? I think that's a very difficult thing that we have to, that we're going to be facing.
Right.
We've
It
heard,
can be done.
but we heard that, and I know, again, that we're too early to talk about, but when you're looking at school next year, the rumors are 2 days a week or 3 days a week. What's that mean for parents on the other days?
Right.
Or what's going to, there's a lot that's going to change with that. But going back to that personal contact, and I don't want to go too far off of it, I think that you guys are bringing back in some personal contact, which is important, not just on the autism spectrum, but on the human spectrum.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at people getting able to go out and associate with people. We went out the other day and we took an impromptu tour of the baseball stadium 2 weeks ago, and we weren't. It was just we were there when they showed us around. That was a treat.
Yeah, to have human interaction.
To be
again.
out and walking around and looking
Right.
at things, and that's a huge opportunity.
It's good
Yeah.
for your well-being. It's so good.
We were out on our boat on Lake Anna. We went to Tim's, and that was the first time. I didn't realize
It's the
this.
first time we had been out since
To a
all of
restaurant.
this started. Now everything is socially distanced. Everything was sanitized. Everything was
they're doing
very
a great
safe,
job.
and I'm very adamant about keeping things safe. But go ahead.
Yeah, they had much fewer tables than normal in there, and more than 6 feet apart, and everything was sanitized. So it was like, but to your point, being able to be there and be around people, and but still while being safe, And
Did you notice? This is going to sound crazy. I got my bill, and it's like I forgot how to tip. Like I'm doing the math, how I would do the math in my head, and I used to be able to do it really quickly. I'm going, what was that formula I used to use, or how?
you have to relearn how
you're
to
relearning
be social again.
Yeah,
How to
it's
do
like
things.
it's an incredibly difficult task.
Yeah.
And when you go to do it, so I think acclimation for everybody is going to be incredibly important, because I will say this, and I used to make fun of my neighborhood that I live in a neighborhood that has lots of homes. I've yet to meet anybody after 5. And I've lived in this neighborhood virtually, I'd say, for the last 20 years in one way, shape, or form. The amount of people out walking, biking,
because they have to get out.
They have to get out. So I'm meeting neighbors, which is good. And there's some of the best manicured lawns I've ever seen in my life now.
Boy, is there, yes.
Now I feel bad about mine, but I think this interaction. So you're not just doing it. This is a car show you got coming up.
Oh yes, that we
August
have
22nd.
August 22nd at Adventure Brewery. Did I say that right? I did.
You did.
It's right behind the Liberty gas station off of 1. They have invited anybody and everybody. I think it's like $20 per car, but they're expecting like 100+ cars there that day, including a Scooby-Doo bus, the Dream Machine or whatever
the Mystery Machine.
The Mystery Machine.
Oh my God! Yeah. Come on, you're not that. We're not that far apart.
No. And I remember Scooby-Doo, but they have this whole
Scooby snacks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a new movie that just came.
Scoob.
Yeah.
They have like food trucks coming out, so we're going to have this amazing, beautiful car show where people get to interact with each other, and it's all based around an autism theme because Cooking Autism is the recipient, which all of the proceeds go towards our special needs community. But it's going to be so exciting to be able to see people and to interact with people and just enjoy laughing with people.
Or just to go outside and look around and see something. I think I've reached the. We had this discussion on one of our other podcasts. You know that as a human species, we have reached the bottom of the barrel on what we can watch. When they give Gary Busey his own show, and it's called Gary Busey Pet Judge.
Oh no!
And I saw it and I clicked it and. I could not get that 5 seconds back of my life.
There's a couple of shows like that right now.
So when you look at that, these things are really important to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Tiger
really
King
is.
was one of them too.
Tiger King took off. But if Gary Busey Pet Judge takes off, then I'm coming up with my own TV show after that because anybody can make a TV show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, you're not just doing that. You're getting involved in some painting. So let's talk about that.
So there is a local woman who has been in the community for quite a few years as a painter, and she did furniture for a while, but now she has a place called When Pigs Fly.
Right.
She's a locally owned business. Her family helps her through this, but it is a pallet painting, which that's like the new rage right now, is putting pallets on your wall or outside your front door, or I think they even have like tub pallets where you can put your book and your wine glass. And anyway, she's invited us to do a fundraiser for Cooking Autism. And we've done one twice before with her, and we've always had such a good time. We're having less people this time because we have to socially distance people, but it's a really good time.
These are wooden pallets.
Yes, they're not like the big wooden pallets.
Because I was saying, you guys are about 3 months late because I had a lot of them.
Yeah,
they're about 24 by 24.
Okay.
Well, some of them are 12 by 24, but it just depends. You have your choice, but she's fantastic, and she's an artist, and she just has a good attitude, and we want to help her because she's a local business, and right now a lot of local businesses they're struggling, but at the same time she's helping us because she's using it as a fundraiser for Cooking Autism. So we're excited about that. That is July 23rd.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Which fundraising is important.
Yes.
Because that's how nonprofits work.
Yes.
It'd be great if they could work on just good intentions, but they don't. How has raising money? Because you're familiar with more than just one. You have involvement with more than just this charity or this nonprofit. You're friends with other people who've got nonprofits. How has how have nonprofits fared during this right now?
So
it depends on their mission.
It depends.
Really. Yeah.
We're very close friends with Stafford Food Security, and they have gotten an extremely great, amazing amount of help because their mission is to provide food, meals to local children and their families. That is huge. That's like another Fredericksburg Food Bank. That's huge. So the mission that they are in is fantastic. YMCA, we're close friends with them. They've struggled some, but they were getting donations for their childcare for first responders. And then, but nonprofits that didn't have an immediate response to being able to provide support to the community, like Cooking Autism, we weren't equipped to be able to start handing out food. That's not something that we've done, even though we do deal with cooking. It's been a struggle, honestly, but we still have an amazing community that has raised up to help us, not just financially, but with volunteer hours, and we're still trucking along, we're still moving, and it's important because this month is when we start giving out grants. Yeah. So we're going to continue to ask the community for help. April is normally our huge go get 'em fundraising month, and we decided in April, instead of fundraising, we were going to give back. So we gave money to nonprofits. We gave out scholarships. We gave to the community instead of taking. And I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud we did that. And it has taken a toll on our finances, but in the long run, it does matter. But we did the right thing.
But our OpEx is not high, right? So we don't have a lot of overhead, and like if you look at now Stafford Food Security, or you look at the food bank, their OpEx is a little higher.
Because they need to have a building that has food and
and we don't have to have that, right?
Well,
so
how you grow and where in the growth that you do, I mean, that does play a lot. And when you are stockpiling food,
right? Yeah.
You need that
takes
space.
room. Yes.
Which takes money, and we were we realized that, and that's why we met and we said, look, we don't have a lot of overhead, a lot of money outgoing. And these businesses right now, because let's talk about Stafford Food Security real fast. They realized that these demographics that they were helping, that usually only really got food when they went to school, right?
They needed
now
help
they're out of
at
school
home.
And they aren't getting food, so they had to really adjust fire quickly.
And they did. They did a fantastic job.
And so sending monetary support to them made sense to us at the time, right? So it still makes sense to us. So not just at the time.
But the thing that's great is that there's a lot of synergy that can be at work in there.
Right.
I want to talk about this race. You brought in these great medals, and if Casey hasn't seen them, great. I love the band.
Oh yeah,
I mean the ribbon on that.
Piece, yeah.
So these are great, and these are for a race that was supposed to happen
in March.
Yes,
yeah.
We were going to have our big kickoff race March 28th, and about a week prior, maybe 2 weeks prior, we decided it just wasn't gonna work.
Because of COVID.
Because of COVID.
Right.
So we very sadly rescheduled it. But the good news is that the new date is October 4th, which is going to be beautiful. It's going to have great weather. We have changed things.
You've reserved the weather for that.
Yeah, I've said it. We're going to have great weather, and that's just the way
October's
it's going to be.
October's always nice here.
Okay, I'm just making. Hey, I am glad that I've got some other dates I'd like you to firm up for me.
You got it. I'm on it.
As long as so 2020 has been crazy so far, but I remember the whole year of 2018 it just rained all year.
Rain. Oh yeah,
it was wet the whole year.
Yeah,
right?
let's do me a favor. Let's please don't let Mother Nature or anyone else know what else we can have.
What they can damage.
What we can push in here. We've had plague, locusts.
There's hornets.
The hornets. The cicadas coming out.
The dust storm.
The dust storm. Yeah,
man.
When you start to think about what a generation can do. Now I want to go back. My grandparents are all passed. I want to have them come back. Remember those stories about remember when you were growing up? Well, we got it all in 1 year.
Yeah, all in 1 year.
All in 1 year.
We better
or
not
6 months.
jinx ourselves here. We're all going to come back 6 months and go, man, we shouldn't have opened our mouths.
Yeah, we will. All of a sudden we had 30 days of rain again.
Yeah.
So, all right. So in October, great weather.
Yeah, we're going to have great weather. I've decided that's what we're going to do. We have about 50 vendors that have signed up to be a part of it. And initially we were going to have it all in like this one small location so people could, but now what we're doing is we're spacing everybody out. We have the
So where's it going to be? Let's talk about that.
Old Mill Park.
Okay.
So we have the
There's a lot of space in Old Mill.
Park.
There's a huge amount of space in Old Mill Park.
Yes. And we, the racers, right now I think we have approximately 400 registered, and what we're doing now is we're going to send them out in heats. So smaller
For how long?
groups, probably about 15 minutes.
No, how long's the race?
Oh, it starts at 7:30 in the morning, and We kind of close up shop around noon.
So is it a 5-mile race?
We have a 1 miler for the kiddos.
Okay.
We have a 5K and a 10K.
Okay, so there's something for everybody.
Yes, so a little bit of everything.
And it's a family festival.
Yep.
And well, that's the most important part there.
Yep.
Now, is it run through the city of Fredericksburg, or does it go through city of Fredericksburg at Stafford?
We've gotten, it's through the city of Fredericksburg. We have gotten all the permits. We've gotten the go-ahead.
No Hospital Hill.
No, we're going to go.
Okay, just making sure.
No Hospital Hill. Actually, we turn around right before Hospital Hill.
What is
Okay.
Hospital Hill? Is it the
You've never gone up. Oh,
Is it-
you've never run up
in
Hospital
Fall
Hill.
Is it the steep hill going up
Yes.
Fall Hill?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, we turn around
Okay,
right
if you've
before.
never, so my pudginess has decided that he wanted to race at least one race every year.
You did last year, right?
And I've raced in the Marine Corps 10K.
So you did Hospital Hill.
And I decided to do the one in front. Well, I decided to do the one in DC.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. I met the people at the Marine Corps, love them. You know, the Marine Corps Marathon people are great. We're sponsors with them. They couldn't be a more top-notch organization. Love supporting the Marine Corps. Everything about this is a great race. And so I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that. I go up to DC. I run in the 10K. And it's great for me because it ends at Arlington, passing right by Arlington, where my grandfather is. So you get that that feeling of nostalgia, and you run that race. And I had a great time. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do the one in Fredericksburg. No problem. Then I hit Hospital Hill.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Oh, and the worst
It
part.
is steep.
The worst part about Hospital Hill isn't necessarily the hill. It's when you get done the hill and you cross over onto Cowan, you forget there's another hill.
Oh, man.
So Cowan starts to go up another, and you're just like, oh, this doesn't. So if you need to run it once in your life just to appreciate the fact that you're not running it ever again.
I've run some hills before.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
You have to come run the autism race.
I don't know if I wanna do
get
that.
prepared for whenever the next.
The warm-up race, yeah. So yeah. Well, so you're doing it. So you have plenty of races. So if you really
Yes.
want to do the 1K with the kiddos, great. If you want to do the 1 miler, you've got the 5K, you got the 10K. You've got great awards for this. But there's
Yes.
more than one way to race. Is that correct?
Yes, we've now made a virtual option. So if you're not comfortable coming out and racing with other people, and that's completely fine, we have a virtual option, and it's actually just a little bit cheaper than if you were going to come out to the race.
Right. Or if you're geo-constrained, right?
That's
so you're
true. So
not
anywhere
able to come here.
in the country, you can support Kicking Autism, and there's a package for just receiving this amazing medal. But then there's also the package of the T-shirt and the medal. And the good news about the virtual race is that you can do it on your own time schedule,
Right.
and you can do it with your buddies. And we will send you out your packet.
We already have people doing it.
We do.
Well,
There's already quite a following.
I know this that the Marine Corps Marathon did that for the historic half.
Oh, good.
And they had us record messages that were played along the race for people. And I know that I think they're doing that now for the actual marathon because that had to get postponed. So it's a wonderful way to get people involved and to get them out there.
Yes.
And the people that were getting involved were so excited because they were able to run the race with their friends, even though they weren't able to be necessarily next to them. So,
and support a really good nonprofit.
So I think this is a great way for you all to take advantage of tech. It's another example of technology being brought into every day to really make a positive impact. So how many runners do you think you'll find? You've got 400, do you think you just said?
About 400, but we still have a few more months to register. I think what we're going to end up doing is having about 50-person races, and we're going to spread everybody out and have them all come in at staggered times. We just want to keep everybody safe, but enjoying and having a good time at the same time. And then our virtual races right now, I want to say we have probably close to maybe 100 virtual racers at this point, and we'd love more. We would love to have some more because all the proceeds go back towards helping with life skills programs for our special needs community. So
I think now you have age group awards or like weight class awards that maybe I can win or something.
we do have a couple of awards. We have a couple of local businesses that are giving us packets and packages and that sort of thing. So there will be different classes and different awards.
So it should be a lot of fun. And then you said you're going to have a family festival at it as well.
Right.
Let's talk about what the people can have at the family festival. Because let's just say you don't want to run, but you
Right.
want to go out and you want to try to support the
That's
community.
what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
That
The
part,
festival.
right?
You
Now,
don't know.
now,
I
wasn't.
thought you were running. I thought you were leading the race.
Oh no, I'm going to be cheering everybody on.
Okay.
Because I have work to do.
Because I'm keeping him working.
Right.
Okay.
Yes,
You know?
that's a good excuse.
So.
You're the designated employee in this case.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So, which is I'm happy to make that sacrifice for.
I can feel it. I'm feeling that you were torn.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough, but I'll get through it. So the family festival is actually April did a great design, a full layout. So we had to take this a map of the park and like have where we're going to have each type of vendor and trucks and things like that,
Food
and share and
trucks,
design it.
fire department.
So we're still. The good thing is, it's outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can still socially distance. There's going to be food
Lots
trucks.
of room.
Lots of room for people to stay away from each other. but
Yep.
Food will be there. Vendors will be there.
We
I
have
hope.
a henna tattoo artist that will be changing her henna tattoo every time she does. We do have a face painter who will also be taking precautions. We're not 100% sure we're going to keep them. We're going to kind of see what the health department says. But we do have bounce houses and bounce slides. We have these humongous family-sized games of like checkers and chess and Candyland, and just like we're going full force humongous game at this whole event so that our children can really enjoy themselves. And a lot of the vendors will have games as well. But we're doing this all with, we have a sanitize volunteers that'll be going around and after each group sanitizing things. And
the game pieces on the large chess pieces, getting those sanitized.
everything gets sanitized. We have a whole group of people, volunteers, that are there just to help keep our community members safe. So we're really excited about it. It's going to be amazing. We've got bubble blowers, and we've got a DJ, and Deontay Diggs is coming out to sing the national anthem. We have a couple of superintendents that are coming out to kind of shake hands. Well, I guess not shake hands, but to give virtual high fives or socially distanced high five. But it's going to be an amazing event, and we are so proud of it. And we were so upset when we had to reschedule back in March. But now the good thing is that we've learned a lot since March of things that we needed to change to make things a little bit better, and it's going to be fantastic.
So when you look, now that we're getting to these points, and people we want to get out and we want to do these events. How did you come up with the idea of how you were going to do the sanitation? I think that's an amazing. I think what people need to realize is that things can happen in a safe environment if there's some forethought. So let's talk about how you all developed that plan.
So I asked for help. I went and I called the city of Fredericksburg, who got me in touch with the health department. I'm not sure if it was a volunteer or not. But then not only did I get some guidance from them, I've also been in contact with the YMCA has done an amazing job. Then they've been able to keep their staff healthy and their the children that they've had inside of their schools during the COVID. They've been able to keep everybody healthy. So I got some guidance from them. And then doing a lot of research on what it will take, the distancing, just keeping people healthy. It can be done. It does take some extra work, and it's going to take an extra volunteers
and
as a precaution.
Yeah. And it's a shared responsibility model, right? So we're going to have signage out there. We're going to put things in place with volunteers that are able to, let's say a kid is, so when you have a game of chess, you have two people playing, right? So any one person is only touching their color piece. So after each game, those get wiped down. But then there's also a personal responsibility side that comes into that shared responsibility, and it's like, make sure you're wearing your mask.
Right. If you're feeling
if
sick, don't come.
Right. If you can't stay 6 feet or more away from people that aren't from your household, wear your mask. Right. And you do that to protect everybody else. And
it's like going to a pool. If you go to a pool, you should know you can slip. So you have to take some steps to be responsible.
Exactly. Don't run.
Yeah, don't run. Or I used to tell them walk really slow.
Right. And we know it's not going to be easy. The special needs community generally has some sensory issues. So wearing a mask can be very challenging. It can be done if they feel like they need to be they need to be closer to people, they can wear masks. And sanitizing things, we have a couple of different kinds of sanitizing wipes and sanitizing gel and sanitizing spray, because everybody's different. Somebody that doesn't do well with the gel might do better with the spray. So we're going to have all of this stuff available.
Talk about that. When you say that somebody doesn't do well,
oh, I forget that people don't deal with this.
They don't.
So
there's a sensory component to all of this, and that's something that we've had to think about and kind of implement.
Demi doesn't like the gel.
Nope. Some people, some children and adults that have a lot of sensory issues can really only do one or the other, or they really have a hard time with any of it. So some people can wash their hands just fine, while other children it's too much. Or they can wipe their hands with hand wipes, with others might be too much. So we have washing hands, regular gel, spray, and wipes for our volunteers and for the people that are going to be out there.
Our youngest son, Daniel, likes the spray.
He loves the spray.
Because he's in his head about how things feel, right?
The gel is just so sticky.
And I'm horrible because I laugh whenever he does this stuff, because it's like I can't help it. But
this is a really important thought process, because when we start to look at, we talked before the show about what people are forced to do or what they're not forced to do, or wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, and we can find humor in the fact that some people are saying they don't want to wear a mask because it's this, or they get mad if you don't wear a mask because of this. We can find, or not humor, we can find the I don't understand.
Right.
But in this particular case, what you're talking about is this isn't someone's personal opinion that it's I'm this way or I'm this way or you should do this. It's an actual impediment, a mental impediment to what you're going to do.
They feel it, and they like.
So how can you move somebody past when you're looking at a health issue?
You find a new way to allow them to still stay safe and sanitize that doesn't trigger any of those issues. So
this is on top of Parenting 101.
Yeah.
Which no book came out. Dr. Spock could have been from Mars when you look at some of the things. So when these manuals that don't come out with your child,
right?
These are things that, as a parent of two boys, I'd just be like, wash your hands, and this is the rule. Just get it washed. These are real impediments.
They are, and we're blessed enough to be able to. This is a very strange way to say this, but we're blessed to see this in our own household, to see the differences in children and the differences in their social
it makes you think
limits.
About them. Yeah.
So we have to constantly not only be thinking about for our own children, but we have a whole group of people that Cooking Autism caters to. We need to make sure that we have the very best for them as well. So we have to be thinking about, okay, what if that person can't wear a mask? How do we help this? What if that person can't wash their hands, or can't use the gel, or can't use the spray? What can we do to keep these people safe and ourselves safe, and also enjoying themselves while they're out having this big social event?
And we can only plan so much for so many different contingencies, so many different variables.
It's going to take the parents as well.
It really comes down to that, again, that shared responsibility, and their parents or their their caretakers making sure that what is a right fit for their individual needs.
It's going to take. It's a village. It takes a village. That's what I always say.
Part of me will now. Now we've really talked about this, and I can easily, in my mind, start thinking about, wow, how bad is it for a graduating senior to lose prom, to lose their graduation, and you can make all of these assessments because children we're not getting these moments of our life back.
Right.
We can say that things are on hold. We can postpone certain things, but time doesn't come back. But doesn't this now seem to me, it's seeming to me, listening to you speak, this is a very unique opportunity to boost life skills and understanding skills for special needs children. I mean, they've almost been forced at light speed to find out that the world exists.
I think we need to go ahead.
It's so, even now, than 6 months ago, let's say, I've always been a huge advocate for teaching life skills to our special needs community. Huge, because that's going to help prepare them. It's going to help give them the foundation that they need to have a loving, successful life, or whatever that means to them. But now, even now, more than ever, it's so important that these life skills are taught, and they're taught frequently, so that they can retain these life skills, because cleanliness and being able to communicate, to advocate for themselves, this is the time that we have to make sure that we're giving these opportunities of learning to this amazing community, because this is the time that they're going to need it in order to keep them safe, in order to keep them happy. This, even more than 6 months ago, is the time to do it.
And I think it would be helpful for us to get the message out, or start setting the mindset that things aren't really just on hold.
No, they can't be.
It feels like it's on hold because we're all waiting for answers, and
everybody's waiting for this to be over. But I think we need to start getting start re-engineering our lives to deal with this, because we're in a long run. It's going to be around for a while.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. So looking at look at the Spanish flu from 1917 to the early 1920, right? We had a global population of 2 billion people, and then since then, and that took the entire history of mankind up to 1950 to reach 2 billion people as well, and then since then we're at 7.6 billion people. So if you look at the math of perpetuation and how virology works, right, and how this virus spreads, we're going to look at seasons of this stuff, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. So I think getting it, going on with life, and finding ways that we can do that, and innovating, and using technology and using tools at our disposal to be able to make sure people still have a good quality of life while being safe, and marking that and getting in our heads that this is life, this is our new normal, right?
I just think it's so interesting listening to you talk, and I'm going back in time, and I'm thinking about how things are, is right or wrong, and this is more of just an observation, not necessarily an opinion, but we've talked about how in society we've all broken down into these smaller and smaller groups. This is special need for this is special needs for this is special needs for this, and children do learn differently, and we've learned that already, but we've almost forced these kids into the whole it's pull yourself up by your own bootstraps type of mentality, because life is cruel at times, and this is where you have to. I think that's just an amazing thing to try to wrap my head around. This isn't someone saying, "Hey, too bad, so sad." This is life saying, "This is now going to be what we're going to do." Mm-hmm. We've now changed everything. Right. You as parents, educators, us as community members, we've now all been forced into this, and I think it's just an amazing observation. It's time to have changed. Wish there could be an easy way to bring you ease you into it.
Yeah, right. It's like we walked. It's like the entire world slammed through a portal to a new dimension, and everything has just changed.
So hey, we're all congratulations. We're all back in the same boat,
right?
And this is the way that it is,
right?
And especially though for these special needs children who the world has been this.
Right.
Sorry, we can't help ease you into this. Come on, we are.
It was extremely tough seeing these amazing children go through this schedule of what they are used to every single day, and being ripped from that to, whoa, what are we going to do? Right. How is life going to look? And that is extremely challenging for our.
But they've adapted.
They have,
right. and
they've done really well.
Isn't that a really important growth strategy for all of us to realize?
And society has to learn how to paddle together.
Yeah, I think that's the part that I'm at. We've ripped we've been accustomed to saying, okay, well, this is what they need.
Yeah.
And now,
right,
now, hey, congratulations, this is where we're at.
Right.
I think it's a really important testament to talk about the resiliency and the strength and what can be accomplished in that regard, and not worrying about,
I agree.
Yeah.
We
And,
we have learned so much of what they were thinking. I thought, what are we going to do? What is Cooking Autism going to do? What can we do? I mean, this is just so crazy. I mean, I think the whole world felt that, and now we're seeing our children adapt, and we're seeing our teachers adapt, and they're doing so incredibly well. And it's just going to get better and better. We're all going to come out of this way smarter than we ever were.
I think we're also learning. So look at school districts, right? Unfortunately, there are people that, certain areas that weren't so flexible, that we're now going to have to learn how to innovate in and become more flexible.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at there are, when all this happened, and this is by no fault of anyone, in the school districts, right? This is a pandemic that took place.
For anything we're talking about, no
Right.
one, you can make a plan for anything.
Right.
Right.
Good luck.
So
all plans go out the window after
Right.
the first.
All you can do is look at any possible contingency and see if you can, and see what your flexibility thresholds are, right? And what happened, what we're also seeing is there are people that are suing school districts because their child's IEP is not being met.
Right.
Well, and that's a difficulty in the special in trying to teach special needs children, is that we've set so many laws and
Right.
regulations that we hoped would be helpful.
Right.
But now look, to be my sister is a special ed teacher. I have no idea how anyone can. My hat's off to you doing it.
Yeah.
When you look at the backlog of paperwork, they can spend as much time doing paperwork as they would be
They
teaching.
really do.
that's-
I don't know how school districts are going to, watching the school board and watching the Stafford County superintendent talk, it's kind of like, are you familiar with the Kobayashi Maru?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
The only way to beat it is to reset
How many
it.
guys
prior
aren't
to-
Star Trek?
Right? This is a real world Kobayashi Maru. Right? We really don't know what we can. All we can do is throw things at it and hope it sticks.
So Cooking Autism at this point, we have plans. We know that if this county goes this way, this is what we're going to do to support that county. If this county goes this way, whatever these tracks are, we have a board of amazing educators that are figuring out how to be able to help our children inside of the brick and mortar classroom, and now a lot more children outside, because we have a lot of children that will be homeschooled. So we whatever the movement is, Cooking Autism is prepared to jump on board. So we're kind of waiting for the all of the local school systems to figure out what their plan will be, and then we're ready to jump, and we're excited to jump.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. It's and maybe 3 months down the road, school has already begun. They're going to change it again. Cooking Autism will be able to figure out where we're going to go from there. So we're kind of just staying on top of it. But yes, it is. This is hard for everybody. But you just kind of go with it. You just got to jump in and keep going.
The part that really got to me, and I don't know how we can help, but it's one thing that really has dawned on me during this, is listening to the people who don't have basic internet access.
Oh yeah.
And so we've talked about all of these great things that technology can do, but I think that's the hard part for some of these school systems. It's great for Fairfax County to talk about, we can do this. You're Fairfax County.
They have plenty of access.
And it's hard for people, I think for state legislators and some of them to really realize, outside of the city of Richmond, outside of Norfolk, outside of Fairfax, this is a rural community.
Yeah.
Well, so Stafford County recently was awarded some grant money to be able to engage in what's called the Commonwealth Connect, right? Which is an initiative through the new Commonwealth Broadband Czar to help take advantage of some fiber optic network that the Commonwealth owns, as well as working through cooperatives with ISPs. Internet service providers. All right,
That's the one. There's a few we know.
Right.
There's a few we know.
And the purpose for that is targeting those rural areas to get them that 10/1 low limit 10/1 baseline of connectivity for them to be able to do. Now, this was just for telework, right? So this was taking place. Commonwealth Connect was taking place before COVID ever hit, right? So it actually just kind of feeds into it, and I'll get to my point, right? So it's a good thing that was already in motion, because it also helps with teleeducation, right? With remote education. And you also have a lot more ISPs and wireless service providers like Verizon stepping up and providing, an additional 15 gigs of throughput for their.
Think about that. That's not a lot of, when you're looking at the amount of video that has to be drawn down.
Right. Yeah, I think they're going to have to become. I think they're going to need to become a little more innovative in that. 5G is just around the corner, so I know they're going to start throwing a lot more money at that. And 5G is going to replace,
But even, the internet itself is important, but then you start to look at the technology that these kids have at home.
Right.
And I mean, I cringe to say I've got a laptop at my house. I've got a laptop here at the dealership, a dealership laptop. I've got access to computer on my cell phone's a computer. Then I probably have a few computers I'm not using anymore. But I'm sure you may have the same thing given your careers. There's people out there that
I know Stafford County just authorized, so the Board of Supervisors authorized the funding, and the school board is purchasing 9,000 new Chromebooks
to give to their students.
To give the students that are.
So it's a shame they can't find a way to use the Xbox to do it, because they got the controller there. That's probably there.
Yeah, and it has the Windows kernel, and they actually host a couple.
And there are some counties that are also providing hotspots and internet access. They're paying for the bills, or they're working through the internet to the internet companies to provide that to people who need help, and they're giving away Chromebooks. So we're working towards that. We're working towards meeting that, or they are working towards meeting that goal of getting everybody up to speed if there has to be virtual learning. But boy, that's a big issue, and that, I mean, even there's teachers that would get on their Zoom meetings and not have internet access, or would have to come drive into the parking lot of their schools where they would have Wi-Fi so that they could get in on that way. So it's not just a struggle for the students, it's also a struggle for some teachers. But boy, are they working. It's like a very...
Well, if you've ever wondered what the use... I mean, this is where we're going to give you credit. Have you ever wondered why we need an IT guy?
There you go.
Because
they're going to be needed.
I'm looking forward to 5G.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are super excited.
I think you and I have talked in the past about telework initiatives back whenever I served in the FAMPO, like on the I forgot the committee name that I served on. It was just an advisory committee for
the regional traffic and
So the CTAC, the Citizens Transportation Advisory Committee, and one thing that we were looking at was how the federal government approached telework, right? Sonny Perdue came into ag and killed this award-winning telework program because he felt like it was a better idea to have everybody, telework at max 1 day a week instead of the 4 days a week that they were doing.
Yeah, we had telecommutation. There was a telework center right behind the dealership at one time.
Yeah, so they, but I think this is making the entire world adjust fire on how telework is approached, and there are also some benefits to this, right? You're looking at jobs that are telework capable, and people are able to start taking advantage of that more and getting more cars off the roads and things like that. And parents can work at home while their kids are having to do remote education, But I think it's baby steps as far as getting the right bandwidth out to those rural areas, to those houses that don't have internet, or finding out new wireless technologies to get it out there, because of the last mile cost to get fiber out there. It's just not feasible.
Well, then that's the other part that's going to be difficult, is now you've got everybody competing for what's out there, and jobs and those. It is a huge challenge, and I'm glad there's smart people like you doing it, leaving it away from people like me who could just go, the power button didn't work.
Reset.
Reset. So I am definitely grateful for that. I'm grateful for the work that you guys do. I mean, 60 minutes has gone by pretty fast.
It
for us here.
does. We could talk for hours. Wow. Yes.
But which means we need to have you back again. I mean, as our first repeat visitor, we're really excited about that. And you got to see the studio change a little bit over time.
Really
we added some
good
artwork, and we're pretty excited about it. Yeah, it was pretty fun. Congratulations on being the first ever employee for Cooking Autism.
That is new.
We didn't get to celebrate that.
Yes, that's new. We found that Cooking Autism needs an employee.
She was doing 60 hours a week.
I was working, but we need somebody dedicated to just being able to find grants, to run classes, anything that you can think of having to deal with the nonprofit. We need somebody. So they hired me, which is kind of crazy.
And you're looking to go up to almost 100 classrooms. Is your long term?
Yeah. This past year we were at 56 classrooms, and we have the capability to do up to 100 classrooms this year. So our committee gets together at the end of the month after the superintendents have discussed what the school year is going to look like, and they will vote on all of the applications that we've received over the last 5 months. And we have the capability to reach up to 100 classrooms, and we'd like to do more. We're going to try to do more, but that's where we're at right now.
I think the most important thing that I would like people to leave people with on this is when they're looking at impacting their community and what goes on. You all have been able to really impact the community in a major way with very little money. And I'm not saying whatever you. It's not I'm not knocking whatever you've raised, but the impact that local groups have in a community is huge. And so when you're out, I challenge everybody, when you're out looking at where you want to give money to this year, there's lots of great groups out there, and I'm not knocking any of them, but look at some of these local groups. The money is staying local. It's impacting your community every day. I am grateful to work with you all. I'm grateful to watch you all grown from an idea to where you're at. I am super excited about everyone else that you've introduced us to. The thing that's great is we talk about everything that's bad about the world right now, and I look at people like yourselves and what you do, and I go, well, there's a lot of things that are right, so thank you for what you do.
Thank you. And you've really kind of helped. Man, I don't know that you know how much of an impact you've had, but you've had a tremendous impact for Cooking Autism since before we were even a nonprofit.
All I did was meet you and said, wow, you guys are great people, and so I don't know what else. But thank you very much for being here.
You.
Everyone, this has been a great Fredericksburg Strong episode. We look forward to seeing you again here at the table.
Thanks for listening to the Fredericksburg Strong podcast. Be sure to visit fredericksburgstrong.com to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our fantastic bonus content, as well as submit a request for you or your organization to appear on one of our future episodes. See you next time with another exciting episode of Fredericksburg Strong.